So the Chicago Bears just got a triple dose of great news. I think this guy agrees. New addition to the family. This is Beckett. I think he's excited about this new Bears season, and he absolutely should be. And I don't typically love celebrating something that's bad for another team, but guys, this is just crazy. Losing Ben Johnson, and now one of the best centers in the league. The window is definitely closing for the Detroit Lions, and I'm absolutely here for it. And you guys have probably already heard about Frank Ragnow. I'm going to get into more details on what to expect with that retirement. And there's also, coupled with that, there's a developing situation on the Bears O-line that's one to celebrate as well. So we've got a new beginning with an underrated, if that's possible, ending for our rivals, the Detroit Lions. And Ben Johnson himself, he had a lot to say about this. And this kind of goes to show that really, I mean, this is more than just a guy on the field that the Detroit Lions are losing. And many Lions fans are downplaying this, saying that, look, a rookie is going to be just fine coming into to replace Ragnow. But I fully disagree, and I think Ben Johnson is of the same mind. So the impact of Ragnow, once again, it goes way past his work on the field. I don't think he's replaceable in the short term. This is straight from Ben Johnson. I don't know if I've been around a tougher player in my life than him. He was a pleasure to coach, pleasure to be around. He makes everyone around him better. The number of injuries that he's had, and he was still able to play through it. Pretty remarkable. Whether you were in the locker room with him or you competed against him, everybody in this league had a high level of respect for him. And Ragnow, he just announced his retirement on Instagram. This is straight from him. These past couple of months have been very trying as I've come to the realization that my football journey is ending and I'm officially retiring from the NFL. I've tried to convince myself that I'm feeling good, but I'm not. And it's time to prioritize my health and my family's future. I've given this team everything I have, and I thought I had more to give, but the reality is I simply don't. So not only do the Lions lose an all-pro caliber lineman of their unit, but they lose them after free agency, after the draft. Absolutely no path to replace him. I mean, Lions fans can say, look, we prepared for this. We knew this was going to happen. We drafted an heir apparent. But beyond Ragnow's skills, he was also the man that made all the line calls for the offensive line, and this helped make this unit churn out. One of the best in the entire league. In fact, probably the best in recent years. So I don't really buy that this is going to be an easy replacement. I don't like to usually celebrate things that are other teams' misfortunes, but you guys, this is just huge stuff. Now, to understand the impact of this, here's a little illustration I think that is bears mentioning here. So the Lions offense in 2023, with and without center Frank Ragnow on the field, and this is according to league ranks. With Frank Ragnow, that's 755 plays. Yards per play are 6th. There's the new dog. 3rd place. Success rate, 44.7. That's 4th. And EPA per play, 0.9. That's tied for 2nd. Now, without Frank Ragnow, and granted, this is a smaller sample size, but it's still 182 plays. The yards per play drops to 5.3. That's 13th instead of 3rd. The success rate, all the way down to 36.4. That's a terrible percentage. That drops it down to 29th instead of 4th. And EPA per play, that's negative 0.13. That is 27th instead of being tied for 2nd. I mean, this drop-off is precipitous, a smaller sample size, but man, this is a big-time hamstringing of the Lions' run game in particular. And without Ragnow, no firm plan behind him. Most likely, they're going to have to move 2025 second-round pick Tate Ratledge to center and start 2024 6th-round pick Christian Mahogany at one of the guard spots. They're going to put a 6th-round pick at one of the guard spots. Hank Fraley, still one of the best offensive line coaches in the league. I'll give him that. He can certainly make things work, but likely it's just not going to be as strong. It's not going to be the same team strength. Now, couple the loss of Ragnow with so many coaches, hard not to imagine the Lions hard to imagine the Lions not regressing this year, right? That's going to greatly help the Chicago Bears, especially early in the season. The Bears are playing the Lions on week 2. And then the idea that the Minnesota Vikings are going to be starting, in essence, a rookie at quarterback with second-year player J.J. McCarthy. This door to this division, you guys, is wide open. Granted, I want to see it on the field. Granted, we've been here before. Granted, we've won off seasons before. I totally get that. But the Detroit Lions were dealt a huge blow. Ragnow did what he felt was best for him and his family. I salute you, Frank Ragnow. You've been a great player. Best of luck to you. Prayers to you. And we're going to applaud you for your performance on this team. He has been a great player. Now the Bears, coupled with that, they're on an upswing at center, as we all know. Johnson, right off the bat, Drew Dahlman was a huge priority. He is the offensive line building block. Chicago signed him to a 3-year, $42 million contract. It's important that this bears mentioning because this is in great contrast to what the Detroit Lions are losing. We have gained a young guy in the prime of his career, one of the best centers in the league, only 26 years old, and Chicago is super confident that Dahlman's going to be a key piece of Caleb Williams' offensive line. And you've got Dahlman coming in. You've got 2 other great offensive linemen coming in via trade. Darnell Wright is going to be solid at right tackle, and these contracts are all the way through to the end of Caleb Williams' rookie contract. So this is just giving continuity and strength. Who would have thought coming into this offseason that the offensive line would be possibly the strongest part of this team? Just a really good thing to see. And Dahlman, he certainly proved why they were so willing to dole out a contract to him. An ankle injury limited him to just 9 games last year, but a 78.8 grade from PFF that still ranked 4th among 64 centers, and a 79.8 run block grade that ranks 5th in the NFL. So is it possible that the tide has turned in this division? Granted, got to see it on the field. The Bears have now followed the Lions formula with just a locked-in O-line, playmakers across the board on offense. And while the Lions lying 2 spots on their offensive line, 2 spots are now officially up for grabs. I don't think this is a team strength anymore for the Detroit Lions. And we also have their coach. The Lions have lost 7 coaches. Johnson helped the Lions finish 6th in rushing, averaging 146 yards per game. And the Falcons, they were right behind them at 10th, averaging 130.5 yards per game. Bijan had his breakout campaign, rushing for 1,400 plus yards, 14 touchdowns. I'm not saying all this is Drew Dahlman, but it's an indication of what Drew Dahlman provides in the run game. He's absolutely stalwart there. And the way that Johnson describes him, it actually might be hard for Dahlman to top one thing that Ragnow had. Ragnow was a tough guy, but the Bears are just looking at this point for strong play, for consistent play out of the center position. And if Dahlman even lives up to a portion of this height, star center to coach. And I would say Ragnow leaving the Lions is equivalent to what we would have been looking at as Bears fans if Olin Kreutz would have lost the team when the team was really humming, if he would have retired unexpectedly. That's the type of impact that this is making on the Detroit Lions. And I don't believe Detroit Lions fans that they're like, Ben Johnson's leaving, but it was always the head coach's offense, and it still is. The center's leaving. We're just going to plug a rookie into perhaps the hardest position in the whole NFL to transfer from college to the pros. The offensive lineman is responsible for everything. In a baseball sense, he's the catcher of the offense. All the assignments, all the reading defenses, everything. Almost impossible for a second-round center. You could argue that he's a guard that they're bringing into the center position, that he's going to be able to hit the ground running without any hiccups. I think it's really fortuitous as well that the Bears are meeting the Lions in week 2. So let's talk about positives on our own team, independent of the Detroit Lions. Let's talk about Ozzy Trapillo. Nobody was talking about him. I don't think any of you were really focusing on his name before this draft, but man, he is looking like an ascending player. Nobody was even talking about him before the draft. Drafted by the Chicago Bears in the second round, he is vying for the starting offensive left tackle position. Great versatility in college, playing both left and right tackle, and he's known for strong pass protection. Run blocking abilities are not a problem whatsoever. And kind of looking at his draft status and position, second round, 56th overall. He's being considered for this starting left tackle job. And if you watch OTAs so far, granted there's no pads, there's no contact, but he looks absolutely up for the job. Known for his size at 6'8", power, athleticism, really excels at run blocking, particularly has a second gear and an ability to hold off defenders at the second level. Also has a really strong anchor against bull rushes, really good grasp of pass protection, and Dan Ruchar should be very happy with that. Ruchar has said over and over, I want guys coming to this team that are already strong pass protectors, and Trapillo is definitely that. Great pedigree as well with his father. He's competing for the starting left tackle spot with Braxton Jones. He's expected to be limited at the start of training camp due to injuries. I told you guys this was a doghouse. You can hear it. And Darnell Wright is currently holding it down on the right side. The potential of moving him to left tackle is not going to happen. I'm not going to overreact to him playing a couple plays over there in OTAs. Just a really, really good situation with the Bears getting Trapillo in the second round. Nobody saw that coming as potentially a very good left tackle he's developing into. Karan Amagaje is also going to be competing for that spot. And we're also going to get Braxton Jones back. So that's going to be a really, really good thing. Completely solid offensive line. And that's coupled with the fact that we have the coach to do it. And he was taken from a division rival. And on top of it, they lost their Olin Kreutz. Frank Ragnow unexpectedly retired, and the Lions don't have an answer to plug in at center or the guard spot that's going to possibly be vacated by Mahogany shifting over. So you guys let me know what you think in the comments. I think this is a solid triple dose of great news, and I'll continue to be here with Chicago Bears news on the daily. Bear down, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. See ya.